Alright, Homesteader family, welcome back to the journey. So, aluminum hat, tinfoil hat, crazy sign. We've seen that throughout history. It's a bit kooky, it's a bit crazy, it's a bit comical. However, all joking aside, let's go ahead and get down to business and really talk about what's going on right now and what's happening. So over the last several days, I've been watching different videos, watching the news, watching White House briefings, doing my research like I always do in anything in life to see what's going to happen next. There's a lot of stuff going on right now, a lot that people are struggling with, that they're not able to deal with. A lot of people are going through hardships. And I want to try to do something that just might save you. I'm not talking religiously, I'm not talking spiritually, physically, mentally, emotionally, anything like that. I'm looking at something that might help you monetarily. There's a lot of people struggling, a lot of people can't afford things right now, and there's something that people have missed. The one thing we have been taught from the get-go that has been straight up honesty is that history repeats itself. History repeats itself over and over and over and over. Never has it ceased to exist. There's one thing that goes hand in hand with history repeating itself, and that is the erasing of history. Without erasing history, history wouldn't be able to repeat itself because we would know what history was. Over generations and generations, they erase history. History disappears from our minds, from our memories, from our thoughts, and history happens again to prove that it happened before, it will happen again, and continue to happen, because until we address history, we are doomed to repeat it. Now, another thing we're not learning is money. You may call it currency, money, whatever. I know there's different terms, different terminology, different thoughts, different processes for everything, but we know one thing. There's no currency, no money, no bills, no coinage, no nothing that is still in existence today that worked in another society for, say, 1,000 years, because every society breaks down, every empire falls, and unfortunately it looks like we're in that same boat. So we've got to look at history. What has happened in history that has taken a lot of people out? What are different causes? What are different consequences? What are things we're not paying attention to? One of the largest things on this planet to kill people. Yes, I said to kill people. It's not guns. It's not knives. It's not wooden bats. It's not bad people. It's hunger, starvation. Starvation is the #1 killer on this planet. And we are seeing something epidemic, like they want to say. Just something we've never seen before. But if you look at history, it has happened before. And we are trying to control things in a way that is not good. And this is where I want to try to help people out to try to see monetarily how things can happen. So right now we have prices going berserk. And people are like, oh, gas prices are going through the roof. Food prices are going through the roof. Insurance is going through the roof. Medication's going through the roof. Everything's going through the roof. Why? Because of every empire, every society, everything always comes back to the raping, the robbing, and the pillaging of the people of that community, of that society, of that empire, of that world dominance that occurs in different countries, in different parts of this planet. What I'm talking about is what you should be opening your eyes to. It is something that is real. It is something that is happening. And we need to pay attention to the signs. I normally don't do doomsday type videos. I was a doomsday prepper back years and years and years ago. I got out of that mentality because it was all doom and gloom. But with everything happening right now, it is life or death. The end is nigh. For those of you that don't speak Great Britain, nigh is near. The end is near. That's from one of the zombie movies. Those of you that might know it can comment down below on what movie I got that from. It was plastered on a wall in that movie. But anyhow, back to the subject at hand. What is happening with prices going up? It's not prices going up. It's the dollar, our currency, our money that is disappearing. It is becoming worthless. When you print unlimited amounts of money, trillions of dollars at a time, hand out trillions of dollars at a time, there's so many bills out there in circulation, so much money. Same with digital. We can just add a couple zeros on the computer and just keep lending money, lending money, lending money. This is where a lot of people are having a hard time seeing history and how they can fix it for themselves in a way as like an insider trader. Now the way you can do that is property. Property is going to be something you need to get into. A lot of people don't understand that. They're saying property prices are the highest they've ever seen in this world. And it would be stupid to buy what was a $50,000 house for $500,000. But if we go into history, we look at the Weimar Republic in Germany, we look at Zimbabwe, we look at all these different countries that have gone through hyperinflation. A lot of you won't even know what hyperinflation is, never even heard the word. Hyperinflation is something that will devastate 90% of the population of that community, of that empire, of that country, of that state, county, local community, whatever, however it hits, it will devastate 90% of the population. Your money you think is worthless now, wait until it takes a wheelbarrow of cash or $100,000 or $500,000 of credit cards just to buy a loaf of bread. You don't think that's possible? Do your research. Go back into history. The history that has been erased. The history that we are not taught. Why aren't we taught this on a constant basis? Because then it would be in your brain, able to get underneath the aluminum foil where you can actually think. I think this right here, this aluminum foil, I think this was made to stop thoughts from coming in. They said it was a crazy person's hat and you wanted to lock your thoughts in your head. You didn't want your thoughts being read. But maybe it's to stop the thoughts from coming into your head. Stop you from thinking. If you look at Weimar Republic, Zimbabwe, and I mean there's dozens and hundreds of these scenarios. The money just grows and grows and grows. Becomes worthless. You lose the buying power. You lose any sense of hope. Because if you don't see what's coming, if you don't know from history what's going to be happening, if you don't go down the rabbit hole of the doomsday prepper, of the homesteader, of the prepper, of the ex-military, survivalist, go on and on with all the different groups and categories of people that are in the type of thinking of seeing what can happen and being ready for the next step or the next shoe to drop. It's something we all need to learn. It's something we need to pay attention to now, not tomorrow, now. The reason we need to pay attention to it now is because there's an opportunity that most people don't see, that I'm watching unfold in front of me, that was in my head from learning all this stuff years ago and knowing I needed to act. So for those of you that have been watching my channel, I have backed off from videos, making videos, because I'm in the process of trying to sell multiple properties to get into other properties. And people are like, I can't believe you're going to go buy a new property for 5 times the cost of what you already own a property for. Why am I doing that? Because right now your money is hyperinflating. They're not talking about it. They're saying, oh, the rates are up. Inflation is up 5.49% or whatever the numbers are going right now. They keep changing day by day. Social Security is going up 5.9%, the highest in 40 years for Social Security. The COLA, the cost of living adjustment. All these different things are popping off. And now you have all the YouTubers out there popping up off videos. Look at Dollar General. It's without food on the shelves. Look at Walmart. Look at Costco. Look at Sam's Club. Look at all the devastation in our restaurants and businesses and everything that cannot get shipping in because cargo ships are stuck out in sea. We can't get anything from China. We can't get anything from Taiwan. We can't do anything. Wars at our doorstep. Just everything is going crazy on YouTube right now. But nobody is telling you anything to help you except, oh, stock up on all this food. Stocking up on food is a good thing, but there are limits to it. Stocking up on food will make sure you have some food to eat. But the problem is, food has a shelf life. So nobody is looking at long term. People are saying buy some seeds. Buying seeds don't do anything if you don't know how to garden, if you don't have soil, if you don't have land. And that's what I'm getting at here. The insider trading is land. Look at Bill Gates. Look at the Queen of England. Look at all the elite, super rich, super smart, most intelligent people on this planet. What are they doing right now? They are buying land. They are buying farmland. They are buying lumber land with trees on them, woods, forest, anything that has any sense of productivity to it, they are buying up. Why are they buying up when prices are at sky-high numbers? Because if we go to the Weimar Republic, if we go to Zimbabwe, if we look at everything throughout history, that $500,000 property you buy today, that you get financed through the bank, not using your money, putting more debt on you, which is fine. You don't understand this. That $500,000 debt through the bank right now, even though I'm not an investment person, I don't have any type of licenses or anything to teach people about investing. That is where you need to be. You need to be looking at land. You need to be looking at survival. You need to be looking at more than just stocking food, preparing with food. Everybody is buying land right now, and that $500,000 land in the next 12 months is going to be worth $600,000, $700,000, $800,000, $2 million, $10 million, $100 million, $1 billion, possibly. Why? Because when money hyperinflates, it never stops until the crash. When the crash happens, it comes down to what you have. The people in the Weimar Republic that had precious metals, that had scrap metals, bathtubs filled with coins that were metal, people that had farmland that they could eat off of, that they could plant, they could build their own house off, they could mill the lumber on their land that they owned at that time. They made it. They survived. That is why 99% of us are here today, because our ancestors found a way to survive, to get by, to get us to this point. We need to be thinking. We need to be strategizing. We need to do the insider views. We need to do the insider trading. We may not be super rich. We may not be super wealthy. But one thing a lot of us can do, we can get loans. We can get credit cards. We can figure out ways to get a property. My properties that I have bought have gone up in value. For those of you that saw, I didn't really do a video on the rundown house here in Marshall, Arkansas. Not in Colorado no more. Used to say in Colorado. First video I've done in a long time. But anyhow, here in Marshall, Arkansas, that I bought for $20,000, people are like, that just needs to be burned down. It's got termite damage, bad roof, everything else. Well, guess what? The value of that house is going up, right? Why is the value of the house going up? Because the dollar is becoming worth less. If you have food in your pantry, yes, you're saving money on what food is costing now. But the problem is, you don't have a way of making money. By buying property, by buying land, by buying investments, as money hyperinflates, you can resell and align yourself into something new. With land is not being made anymore, unless it's volcanoes making new islands, which are inhabitable for a long time. People are going to be having babies. When the whole lockdown happened, think of how many people had coitus, like the Big Bang Theory says, and Sheldon Cooper. They're going to be having babies. Babies are going to start popping, and they're going to need to feed babies. So what are we going to do with a big surplus of babies around the world from all the different countries going into these lockdowns and stuff? There's going to be all these mouths to feed. What did all the different governments do? They told the farmers, burn the crops, bury the potatoes, slaughter all the pigs and cows, throw them in ditches. And if they did that, the government gave them what? Some more money. Well, what people aren't realizing now, once again, history comes back around, bites us once again. Shell shock. Supply crisis. It is all coming. Shortages. Starvation. Hunger. Going without. You don't believe it? Look at history. Look at all these other countries that have gone through it. What's one of the things they start out doing right away? You don't know? Think about it. They limit. They tell you you can only have this, you can only have that. Oh no, my country would never do that. The US, you can only buy 5 things of toilet paper. Oh, now it's going into gallons of milk. Butter, I can only buy one stick. What happens next? I can only buy one stick of butter a week. Now it's once a month. Now I can only get a cube of butter. Now I can get no butter. What just happened? We lost everything. Pay attention. Wake up. See the reality. Invest in yourself. Invest in land. Invest in getting off-grid, into homesteading, into being able to support yourself, not support yourself by some government. The end is nigh.